Hey guys, welcome back to Saturday Night Sit Down with your host Tammy Pinnock. On today's episode, I want to talk on the topic financial transparency in marriage. But before we go into all the finances and all that, let's touch briefly on the reason why two people, from different walks of life, two people from different backgrounds, two people with different ideologies, completely different upbringings would decide to come together as one. Now, most people think that people decide to come together as one to get married because they want to have babies, and that's not true. Now, having children is part of the greater plan, but it's not the main reason why two people come together as husband and wife. And now also, most people also think that the reason why two people decide to come together is because of companionship. Now, companionship is very, very important as well, and it's one of the reasons why two people decide to come together, because a single life generally it sucks. It's boring. It's really boring. It sucks. So that's another reason why two people come together. That's number two reason why people come together, to be husband and wife. And number three reason is to, reproduce, replenish the earth, like the Bible has said. We want to create our own kinds. But the number one reason why two people decide to come together, two people from different walks of life, like I've said, two people from with different upbringing, two people with different ideology, the main reason why they decide to come together as one, as husband and wife, is to build faster. Yes, the main reason is for them to get things done quicker, for them to get things done faster. It's for them to build an empire. And when two comes together, they get things done really, really quick and really, really fast. And now there's a Bible passage that I would like us to see, which relates to that. And it's taken from Ecclesiastes 4, 9 to 12. Ecclesiastes 4, 9 to 12. And I'm just going to read it for you. Okay. So Ecclesiastes 4, 9 to 12 says, two are better than one, because they have a good returns for their labor. That's the key point that I want to get from there. They have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, so that means if any of them, maybe the man falls down or the wife falls down, one can help the other up. But pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if two lies together, they keep warm. But how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of three strands is not quickly broken. But the main point that I want to pick from that passage is two are better than one because they can have a good returns for their labor. So the main reason why two people, like a man and a woman, decide to come together, it's because they want to start a new empire. They are starting a new family. They want to build together and they want to build faster. So when person is alone, it takes them longer to get things done. But when two people comes together with their resources, the man brings his resources, the woman brings her resources, and they come together as one, they get things done very, very quickly. Now let's take an example. Let's assume that example of a man who wants to buy a house, and the house is worth, let's say the house is worth 20,000 pounds, and let's also assume that the man earns 2,000 pounds at the end of each month. Let's also assume that at the end of the month, the amount outgoing, so all his bills for the end of the month, is 1,000 pounds. Yeah, right. Now, so he earns 2,000 pounds. His outgoing and everything for the month is 1,000 pounds. That means he has 1,000 pounds to save. And this man wants to buy a house worth 20,000 pounds. Now, let's do the calculation, guys. How long will it take the man to save 20,000 pounds to get this house? So if you save 1,000 pounds a month, that means it will take the man 20 months to buy a house of 20,000 pounds. So roughly that is 12, and so that's a year and 8 months, if my calculation is right. So it will take the man a year and 8 months to get a house of 20,000 pounds, right? Yeah, okay. So now let's assume also that now this man gets married. Now the woman has come into that marriage as well with our resources. Now let's assume, just to make my calculation easy, I'm not a mathematician, so let's assume now that the woman as well earns 2,000 pounds at the end of the month. Now, because both of them has come together, their monthly outgoing now will increase slightly. So let's say, for example, now their monthly outgoings together has gone up to 1,500 pounds. Yeah. Okay. So now the woman earns 2,000, the man earns 2,000. At the end of the month, that means between the two of them, they've got 4,000 pounds, right? Now let's assume that their outgoing for the month is 1,500 pounds. So 1,500 pounds out of 4,000 pounds, how much will be left? So they would have left 2,500 pounds in their savings. Now, guys, let's do the maths. So between the two of them now, they now have 2,500 pounds in their savings. How long will it take the two of them to save the 20,000 pounds? Guys, do the maths. It's amazing. It will take the two of them 8 months. 8 months to save 20,000 pounds. It's amazing. Now, that is the reason why a man and a woman comes together as one, because they get things done quicker and they get things done faster. And like I said before, it would have taken that man 20 months to save 20,000 pounds. But now that they have decided to bring their resources together, they've decided to come together as a husband and wife, they've decided to work together as one, it will now take them just 8 months to get a house worth of 20,000 pounds. So that is the main reason why a man and a woman comes together to build an empire, because they can work faster, they come together and they can get things done faster, and they grow faster and they get things done quicker and they get things done better also. And also, when two people are together, they like I said, they come together, they bring their resources together, they think differently. Like I said, they come from different, different background. So the man brings his ideas, the woman brings her own ideas, and they come together and they plan together. And sometimes they might say, okay, let's go with the man's idea because at that time it's the best. And then they go for the man's idea. And other times they might say, okay, let's go with a woman's idea because it's best. And they come together and they get things done so quicker and faster, and they support each other. They support each other to actualize their dreams and their visions. The man supports the wife to get to where the wife wants to get to, and the woman also supports the husband to get to where the husband wants to get to. And with the two of them now becoming one, they get their dreams and their vision done quickly and faster. And this is the reason why I lay emphasis on, when a woman gets into a relationship, like when a man and a woman comes together as one, as a husband and wife, the wife also has to be doing something. You have to also bring something to the table. For me personally, I don't believe in women, sitting at home and doing nothing and just looking after children. Your purpose in life is not just to come to planet Earth and just get married and then just give birth to children and look after those children, because trust me, those children will grow up and they will go, and then what do you do? So a woman also has to be able to do something. And like I said, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to bring, a big, massive contribution to the home, but whatever you bring makes it better. And this is in line with what the Bible says, that we as women, we are helpmates for our husband. So we are there to support the man for us to get to where the two couples has decided to get to. So when a woman is in a marriage and she's doing nothing, she has defiled the purpose of a man and a woman forming an empire to grow and to build faster. So it's very important for the woman as well to do something and contribute something to the upkeep of the home. And now, all of this that I'm saying, that a man comes together, a woman comes together, they want to grow, they want to build faster, they want to form an empire, they are starting a new family, and they want to lay the foundation, the foundation of this relationship has to be based on trust. Yeah, it has to be based on trust. Which brings us now to the topic financial transparency in marriage. It has to be based, the foundation of every marriage has to be based on trust. If you watched my video that I talked about what women really want, I said in that video that a woman cannot build with you if a woman can't trust you. And I also said that a woman can't plan with you if a woman cannot trust you. And it's vice versa. If a man can't trust you, then a man can't build with you. If a man can't trust you, then a man can't plan with you. But when there is trust in a relationship, then the two people build faster, because the relationship, that marriage is based, the foundation of that marriage is based on trust, and it makes both of them build quicker and faster. Now, which brings us to financial transparency in marriage. Now let's look at men let's concentrate on men, for a moment. Most men tend to hide their assets from their wives. Most men tend to, they keep everything secret from their wife. Most men wouldn't tell their wives about some men will have 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 10 buildings without their wives even knowing where any of those properties are. Most men has assets. They have investment. They have businesses all over the place. And their wife doesn't know anything about it. But they confide in their friends about all those things. They confide in their family members. They confide maybe in their brothers or their sisters. So their family members knows about all their assets, and their friends or maybe the lawyer knows about all their assets, all their investment, but their wives knows absolutely nothing about their assets. Now, this is real talk, guys, and this is life. Now, we are all born one day. We were all born one day to come onto this life. And one day we're all going to die. And that is the fact. Some people might say, oh, God forbid. It's fact. Whether God forbid, whether God doesn't forbid, it's something that will happen. You were born one day, and one day you are also going to die. It's there in the Bible. There is time and season for everything. And now we don't know when we are going to die. Now, as husband and wife, it can happen that maybe the man will go first, or maybe the woman will go first. Or maybe both of them can even go the same day. They might be in a car, they might be in a plane, and they go the same day. Nobody knows when, God is going to ask for our life back. And we don't know the means of which we are going to go. But the fact still remains that one day we are going to go. And it might be the man first or the woman first. Now let's assume that the man dies. Yeah, first. Now this man dies without the woman knowing anything about his assets, without the woman knowing anything about his investments, without the woman knowing anything whatsoever about his finances. What then happens to the woman and the children that he has given birth to, that he has worked all his life for? What happens? And now that maybe the friend knows everything, the friend has all the document, or the brother has all the document, or the family, it might be the mom, it might be the dad, it might be the parents, has all these documents. And because of greed, and this is very rampant in African community and African culture, the family, because of greed, or because the friends, because of greed, they might now decide to take, to retain those properties of the man for themselves. And now they kick your wife and your children out into the street. That man will be in his grave, turning and regretting every decision that he has made, not being transparent with the wife. Because you have wasted all those years. You have wasted your years building those wealth, building those empires, building those properties, building those assets that your children should have inherited. Now your children are thrown out in the street, and your family that did not even know how you suffered to build that empire, those will be the people that are reaping from it. Those will be the people that are enjoying your suffering. Those will be the people that are gaining from your suffering. Now, fact, guys, listen, this is real talk. When you marry, you are not marrying all of your family members. Now I know that especially in African communities and African culture, they always say, oh, when you marry the you're not just marrying the man, you're marrying the man and his entire family. Sorry guys, I've got cold. And they say when you marry the woman, you're not just marrying the woman, you're marrying our entire family. I don't agree with that. When you marry, you are not, and I repeat, you are not marrying the entire family of the man, neither are you marrying the entire family of a woman. When two people decide to come together, you get married because you want to start a new family. You want to start a new family, you want to build a new empire. And this is the reason why the Bible says, and a man will leave his father and his mother and will cleave to his wife, and both of them will become one. So when you marry, you are not marrying your entire family of the man or the entire family of the woman. You are starting a new foundation. You are starting a new empire. You are starting a new family. Now listen guys, I'm not saying that you now, because you're married now, you now abandon your family as a man, or you now abandon your family as a woman, or you now abandon your responsibility that you have to look after your family and your parents. No, do not get me wrong. What I'm saying is that when you marry, you are building, you have decided, the woman and the man, you have decided to start a new family, a new foundation, and a new empire. Now, when you marry, you as a man and as a woman, when you marry, you have decided that, like I said, you're building a new empire. Now you are building, and the empire you are building, you are not building it for your family. It's tough to show, but that is just the truth. You are not building your new empire for your parents. You are not building your new empire for your brothers or your sisters. You are building your new empire for your children. You are building a new foundation for your children, so that when you build a new life for your children, so that they don't have to start from square zero where you started from, that they don't have to go through the suffering that you went through. And the Bible even say that parents, if a father doesn't leave inheritance for his children, that father is worse than an infidel. That is from the Bible. So that means your parents, it's your parents' responsibility to have laid a good foundation for you. So it's your responsibility to lay a good foundation for your children. That means your parents should have left you inheritance. And you also need to leave inheritance for your children. Because if you die and leave your children debt, if you die and leave your children nothing, you are worse than an infidel. So you are not building for your parents. You're not building for your family. You are building for your new empire. You are building for your children. Now, guys, listen. Because I said you're building now for your family doesn't mean you neglect the responsibility towards your parents or towards your family. You are responsible to support your parents and help them when they need it. But you are not what I'm trying to emphasize is that you are not building for them. So the wealth that you acquire is not because you're not acquiring those wealth for your family. You're not acquiring those wealth for your parents. You are not building all the properties you're building. Now, when I say looking after your parents, let's say your parents are poor, because some people are born into a poor home. Their parents are poor. Their parents had nothing, and they now became something. So when I say looking after your parents, let's say your parents doesn't have a house. Let's say your parents are living in a rented apartment and it's not conducive for them. Yeah, you can build a house for your parents. That is for your parents. So you've built, that is a gift that you have given to your parents for looking after you, for raising you the way they did. And that's it. And then you feed them, you give them their monthly feeding, you support them, and you do what you can do. But what I'm saying that your main empire, your asset, your properties, your whatever investment that you have done, your company is not for your parents, guys. And it's definitely not for your brothers. It's not for your sisters. They are for your children. Those are the future for your children. Those are the inheritance that the Bible says you have to leave for your children. Now, I was talking about men that are hiding all these things from their wives. So let's assume that the man dies, and then your wife has no clue about all these things. It becomes a wasted life and a wasted effort. Because you've worked so hard, you've toiled, you've invested, you've put in blood, sweat, and tears into building your empire. And now you die, and that empire crumbles down like a pack of cards. You've worked so hard all these years, you've built that massive empire. And because you're dead, everything crumbles down because your family now has access to it all, and then they put your children out into the street. Now, guys, I am talking from experience, trust me. My own father died when I was a little girl, and our family, his families, took everything away from us. Everything away from us. We went through hell. My mother went through hell raising the 6 of us. She went through hell. And if my father had, had the wisdom of, whilst he was building and putting little things in place and have that transparency with his wife, I'm sure we wouldn't have gone through all the hell that we went through. That's a story for another day. Now, back to, like I said, that brings us to financial transparency in marriage. Now, so I gave you all those examples to know that you as a man or as a woman, when you decide to come together as one, you have to be transparent with your finances. If you are hiding things away from your husband about your finances, you're doing things in the secret behind your partner's back, you are a cheat. That's just the truth. Cheating is not just sexually. If you're hiding and building things behind your wife's back or behind your husband's back, you are a cheat. Because when you decide to come together, you've decided to be one. So how can you hide something from yourself if you're truly one flesh? You can't hide things from yourself. So when you do that, you have cheated yourself. Now, quickly, so that I don't get this video too long, there are two ways of, managing your finances in marriage between the husband and the wife. And the first one is and none of them is either wrong or right. You have to pick the one that suits you best. So the first one is having a joint account, and this is the one that most people, most financial advisor, most marriage counselor would advise that people go for. Joint account. So the two couple has a joint account where all their money goes into. And the reason behind that is that it gives, total transparency of their finances. So the husband knows what's coming in, the wife can see what's coming in, they know what they're spending, they know who is withdrawing money from the account, they know where the husband is sending money to, they know where the wife is sending money to, and then they can also help each other. If one is overspending, the other one can give him or her a nudge and say, darling, I think you're spending too much. If you continue spending that way, then all our plans it will take us longer to get to where we want to get to. So they can, give each other a nudge and bring them back to their original plan. So that's a good way of a man and a woman being transparent with their finances in a marriage. Now, the other option is both of them having two separate accounts where their salary goes into, and then they have a joint account where all their bills and all their rent and every other thing comes out from. Now, I use myself as an example. My husband and I, we went for the option 2. So my husband and I, we have two separate accounts where our salary goes into, yeah, and we have two joint accounts. So one of our joint accounts is where all our bills, our utility, our rent, you just name it, every bills, all our outgoings goes out from that account. And then the second joint account we have, it's our savings account. And the main reason why we went for option 2 is because we want to build back in this country where I live, there's something we call credit rating. You can Google it just to get a bit more understanding of that. So we want to build our credit rating. So we want it to be a strong empire. So we decided to go for option 2. But even going for option 2 doesn't mean we are not transparent. There is total transparency between us financially. So I know how much my husband earns at the end of the month. He knows how much I earn at the end of the month. I see my husband pay slip, he sees my pay slip, so we know exactly what comes into our separate account at the end of the month. And I have the PIN number to my husband's card. He has the PIN number to my card. So that's how transparent we are with our finances. Even though we have in total we have 4 accounts, 2 separate accounts and 2 joint accounts. And like I said, the reason why we opted for that option is because we want to build our credit rating. We want to have good and strong credit rating between the two of us. Now, financial transparency, the reason for this video is to emphasize the importance of financial transparency in marriage. Because if you are not transparent with your finances in marriage, then you can't grow faster. You might still be able to build, but it will take you longer to build. You won't grow faster. And like I said, it defiles the purpose of both of you coming together in the first place. The main reason, like I said, is not because you want to have children. It's not because you want to have companionship. The main reason is because you want to build faster. You want to build an empire of your own. You want to build faster. You want to leave a good foundation for your children. You know, that's the main reason. Number two reason, like I said, is companionship. And number three reason is to multiply, like the Bible. We want to reproduce our own kind. So financial transparency is very, very, very important. And between the two of you, you can decide. You know, some people say, oh, when you're sending money to your parents, you don't have to tell your partner. When you're doing this for your friends, you don't have to tell your partner. You can just, just do what you want because it's your money. Then if you are living that life in marriage, then you're not in a marriage. You are just in a relationship like a boyfriend and a girlfriend. Because when you are dating, your husband or your wife has got no right to ask you how you spend your money. Because then you are independent, you are on your own, you do what you like with your money. But when you decide to come together, you've decided like we want to work together to get to, we are at point A, we want to work together to get to point B, we want to work together to get to point C and point D. So if you're still in a marriage and you still don't trust your husband, then you shouldn't be in that marriage. Like I said, it's based on trust. The foundation of every marriage should be based on trust. So if you don't trust the man, then you shouldn't have married that man in the first place. If you don't trust the woman, then you shouldn't have married that woman in the first place. So if you still went into that marriage without trusting that man or trusting that woman, and then whatever you see come, it's down to you. But when a marriage is based on trust, then you get things done quicker. That's my emphasis of this video. Financial transparency in marriage. You get things done quicker. Like the example I use, something that would have taken you maybe 2 years, 4 years to get. When you are together and you are transparent and you work together, you get them done in months. You get them done way less than when you are working on your own. So it's very important, guys. And not just because of that. Also, like I said, something happened. We were all going to die one day. The man might go first, the woman might go first. But when you are transparent with your finances, even when you go, either the man goes first or the woman goes first, the empire will still stand. So because one person has fallen doesn't mean that the entire empire has to crumble as well. The empire will still stand. That person that is still standing will still carry the torchlight and run with it. And your children will have a good future. When you are transparent with your finances as husband and wife, you build faster, you grow quicker, you secure your family, and you secure the future of your children. And that is the main point of this video. Well, guys, that's it from me today. I think I've ranted too long. That's it for me today. I want to thank you so much for spending your time with me once again. Thank you for tuning in today. I do really, really appreciate it. Well, if you like my content, like I said, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. When you subscribe, you'll be the first to get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much for joining. I hope to see you guys next week for another edition of Saturday Night Sit Down. I remain your host, Tammy Pinnock. Bye now. Bye.